Yeah, yeah. We just chillin' and vibing. Good conversations with good people. Oh, good conversations with good people. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Chilling and Vibing Podcast. Today's guest is a three-time Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, music producer, and CEO at Humbling Sound Records. Y'all welcome, James Artissen.
Yo, yo, what's happening, man?
What's going on, man? We finally here. We finally here in the making, in
Yeah,
the flesh.
we finally here.
So, James, man, where you from?
I'm from Queens, New York, from up top.
New York. That's what's up, man. Born and raised?
Uh, Definitely born. I wouldn't say raised because I've been traveling my whole life, different places, from a young age. So I wouldn't necessarily say raised in New York, but definitely influenced for sure.
That's what's up. So, who influenced you to get into music?
Um, Man, growing up, like I had so many different types of inspirations musically, from different styles and genres because it was always in the house, it was always around my, surroundings and just being able to meet different people, at a young age. So, from people like a Tribe Called Quest to Houdini to Jay Dilla, Q-Tip, Pharrell, Timbaland. I mean, so many different styles of people that I admired and looked up to that kind of inspired me to want to do music.
Well, when did you first realize you had a voice worth sharing?
Mm, Voice worth sharing. Well, I knew that I wanted to do music probably around age 10 or 11 because I had the opportunity to meet one of my idols, which was Michael Jackson. And by me
Wow.
just having that encounter and being able to just see him in person and quickly speak to him, that was a indication to me. I'm like, hey, if I could do that, I'm doing something right because not many people had that luxury of actually getting to meet him. And as a young kid and being a huge fan of him, that's kind of like the dream right there. So I just kind of took that moment and said, hey, I think I want to do music. I think I want to be in the entertainment business, not knowing exactly what yet, but knowing that I wanted to do something. And over the years, I just kind of, decided, hey, music is the path, and started, you know, building the legs and kept going.
That's what's up. So, growing up, did you have any musical training or did it all just come naturally?
No, I didn't have any training at all. Everything was really trial and error and just kind of learning on my own and figuring things out. Along the way, I've had mentors and people, teach me things and show me things, but, a lot of it was just me kind of, bumping my head and, learning what to do, what not to do, and, just learning the craft as you go.
So, what is your songwriting process like, man?
I'm pretty simple. Most of the time, it depends on the mood and the vibe, but a lot of times, when I'm writing, I'm always starting with melodies because I believe that a melody in a song is pretty much it's what people remember, right? So once I kind of have a melody, that's when I start putting the pieces together as okay, this is what the words need to sound like at this part and that part. This melody change, that chord change, and then the production kind of forms after that. That's kind of like the last piece.
Hmm. So, how do you describe your sound in 3 words?
Describe my sound in 3 words. Um, I would say worldly, I would say progressive, and I would say um innovative.
That's what's up. Speaking of your sound, man, I see you got a song called Call on Me featuring Sauna. Hey, that's one of my
Yeah,
faves,
yeah.
man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Sona, man. Super talented young lady. Met her years ago. Actually, that was the first female duet that I ever did with a female artist before. That song was on my first EP called Blue Leisure, and that came out in 2019. So that was like my experimental phase, like as an artist. That was the first time I ever dropped a full project. First time I ever really released solo music like that to the public. Um, and a lot of people were really, really surprised that the music sounded the way it sounded because when you're coming from a world of songwriting and producing for the biggest names, people just kind of put you in that box, and it's kind of hard to step out of that and transition into another lane. But for me, it was kind of the opposite. A lot of people embraced it. A lot of people were not only surprised, but they were really proud of me going that route because of the music that I was making, and Call on Me was one of the songs that people really enjoyed.
Yeah, dope vibe, man. You also got an EP with Big Gip, man. How did y'all link up?
Yeah, yeah, shout out to Gip, man, Goody Mob, Dungeon Family, all of that. Man, I met Gip a couple years ago, man. Actually we really formally met at my studio. At the time I was working with Corrupt, and Corrupt was living in Atlanta, and my studio was the studio he would frequently record at. And at that time, me and him were working on this song called "Top of the World," and it was pretty much all the way done. But for some reason, Corrupt was just saying, "Hey, I think we need another person on it. Something's missing." I said, "Okay, what you got in mind?" And he's the one that kind of gave me the idea of putting Big Gip on the record. And I thought it was interesting because it was a type of song that Gip hadn't done before. So that's what kind of intrigued me. And Corrupt called him on the phone, and Gibb came through about 45 minutes later, and he laid down his verse. And that was kind of the beginning of our working relationship. And we just kept working and working. And that's what kind of birthed the Gibb and Worthy project.
Yeah, dope project, man. Dope project.
Thank you, man.
But I gotta ask, man, how does it feel being nominated for a Grammy? I want to say congratulations first, man, but how does it
Thank
feel,
you.
man?
I mean, it's a dope feeling. It's a gratification because you're being accepted and viewed by your peers in the industry and from the recording academy, and it's always a great feeling when you're being recognized for your art and your talents and your contributions. So it was pretty much nothing short of that, and also a blessing because we work hard, and this is what we do it for. So it was just something that I could just continue to put on the resume and the discography, but also keep striving for more and more.
So you being an artist, I gotta ask this though. Who are your top three artists of all time?
Top three artists of all time. Ooh, well, definitely Tribe Called Quest for sure. That they're at the top. Michael Jackson, number two, and hmm, that's a good one. I can't even narrow them down to just three because there's so many of them. But I'll probably give you top five. Tribe, Michael Jackson, Houdini. Um, I would say, um, hmm, I put Nas in there, and I put Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye. Dope artist too. Like, man, you done met so many legends, man. How was it linking up with Whitney Houston?
Yeah, man. Whitney, God bless her. First off, uh, super, super amazing personality. Number one, like she was just like full of life and bubbly, and she was like the auntie. And
Mhm.
she was just super super loving and nice to me. I've had a few sessions with her, and she's just really really cool. And I've gotten at the time I got real close with her and the Houstons and the Browns. Most people know that Bobby Brown Jr. God rest his soul, he passed away a couple years ago, but he was one of my best friends growing up. So that's what afforded me to meet Whitney and a lot of the other family members. And she was just super super cool, man. Nothing negative to say about her.
That's what's up. You also just got nominated for Influencer of the Year, man. You you doing your
Oh
thing,
yeah,
man.
shout out to the Rice Awards. Yeah, man. I appreciate the nomination, man. That's right now. We're just on a trajectory of just staying consistent. That's the whole thing right now. Is just staying consistent, staying working, staying busy, and staying creative. That's the whole mission right now, especially with the new rebrand that I've been doing. Of course, a lot of people have known me in the industry for a long time as James Worthy, but I've transitioned to James Artissen now, and that's just the whole point. Is we're just staying consistent with the James Artissen brand.
So why the transition?
Well, ironically, you got the Lakers jersey on. A lot of people know that uh, I shared a name with the basketball player James Worthy. So, a lot of times people got us confused, between the two. So it was just a lot of, explaining the difference and fighting the SEO space when people search us. And, it was just a lot of, back and forth with that. So, I just kind of made the decision. I'm like, hey, let me just kind of step away from that and separate myself from that and just kind of, restructure and rebrand, and that's what birthed the James Artisan brand.
Dope, that's what's up. Who would be your dream collab?
Dream collab. Rest in peace, Michael Jackson, of course. But I don't really have a lot of dream collabs. My whole thing is just collaborating with great artists and collaborating with great minds and people that align with my vision. That's the whole thing, is just working with people that I believe in.
Night Drive. It got approved by Buster Bus, man. How did that make you feel, man?
Oh man. Shout out to Buster, man. That's my dog right there. Night Drive, man. That's actually the first song me and Gip ever did together. It's called Night Drive. Myself, Gip, and John William flautist. He's a dope flutist in Atlanta, man. He be everywhere. He's like super super dope. And that was actually his record and his idea. And he brought me and Gip into the situation, and that was the first song that we all did together, man. And I think we made a classic with that one. We were on the road with that record for a while. We did a whole video to it. It was on TV for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? We was just rolling.
Buster said, that sound like a banger to me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. When I seen that, I'm like, oh, it made it to Buster. Okay, we doing something. We doing something.
Yeah. Do you feel more like yourself on stage or in the studio?
I mean, I feel myself whenever I'm able to be creative as much as I want to be. Whether that's in the studio, on stage, on camera, wherever it's at. I'm just happy to, do what I love to do.
That's what's up. You also got another classic, man. That's classic to me. Your song Goldmine featuring Jay Holiday. How was that
Hey.
masterpiece created, man?
Man, shout out to Jay Holiday, man. Pretty much in a nutshell, I had that song sitting for a couple of years because I just didn't really know what to do with it at the time. And me and Jay Holiday had been knowing each other for some years, and I always knew his manager, and we just kind of rolled in the same circle, so to speak. And one day I just hit him up. I said, "Look, man, we got to do a record together. Like, let's do it for R&B and for the ladies." And he was down with it. I sent him the record and he loved it. And not too long after that, he came to my studio and laid his parts down, and there you have it. It's a gold mine.
Mister, I'ma put you to bed. That was
Yeah.
J Holiday. That's what's up, man. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
man. Shout out to him.
What's the risk you taking musically that paid off in the long run?
The risk. Mm. Well, at the time, I wasn't too sure about doing house music and dance music, but once I did it, I realized that it's a genre that's never gonna die. It's a genre that's always continue to thrive and innovate. And me loving all genres, that's to me it was kind of the inevitable because I knew I was always gonna do it, but I just didn't know when. But when I decided to do it, um, it was more so the satisfaction of I was able to do it more than a risk. But in the beginning, you never really know what's gonna happen. But I'm glad I did.
That's what's up. How do you stay grounded while building your name?
Um, I would say just staying focused and staying out of the clear of negative energy and negative situations. Sometimes people try to bring you into, their world and their situations, and it could drain you, or they can put you in things that you don't really need to be in. And my mindset is, if I don't need to be there, I'm not going to be there. Or if I don't need to be involved in something, I'm not going to be involved. And that's kind of how I've always lived my life and lived through my career, is staying clear of what's not meant for me. And it's been working.
Yeah. That's what's up. What's something fans might not know about you as an artist?
Might not know about me. I would probably say, like, I'm a homebody. I'm more of an introvert than an extrovert, even though I can be an extrovert at times, when I need to be. Of course you have to, shake hands and meet people and meet fans and, people in your face and want to take pictures and blah blah blah. But by default, I'm probably more of an introverted person.
I ain't gonna lie, I am too, man. I mean, I go out, but I ain't gotta go out.
Yeah, I'm more of a now these days I'm more of like, I go out with a purpose, not just to go
Facts.
somewhere or just be somewhere. It has to be a purpose while I'm there.
Like when COVID happened, man, shoot, staying home, shit, I was good. It had some people that shit, man, I gotta go out. Like they had the itch.
Yeah,
I
it
gotta
was
go
getting cabin
somewhere.
fever. I'm
Like,
like, I'm total opposite. I loved it.
yeah, what? Hey, I mean, I used to throw something on the grill. Hey, I ain't gotta go no way. I'm partying at the house. Me and my little
Yeah,
bitty.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Has music ever been a form of therapy or healing for you?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, because a lot of my songs are um they're, how should I say, they're scenario based in the sense of things that I actually have gone through, or things that I know are true about either myself, my life, or other people that I know personally. So it's not, fictitious, or it's not something that I haven't seen or done or any of that. A lot of it is, just my therapy of, okay, this is what I'm feeling, in my head. This is what I'm going through, whatever the situation is. But it's definitely have helped me just kind of, in a small way, kind of vent.
Hmm. Do you ever take breaks from social media or music to protect
Oh
your
yeah.
peace?
Oh yeah. For sure, for sure. I've definitely taken social media breaks and music breaks, just to kind of reset my mind and, Sometimes you get writer's block. Sometimes you want to, kind of escape from everybody and just, be at peace with yourself for a minute. Don't post nothing, just kind of let people wonder where you at. I've definitely did those things.
When you're not recording, singing, or doing anything with music, who is James Artissen?
I'm just somebody that just lives life to the fullest. I don't really I don't live by expectations. I don't live by what other people think I should or shouldn't be doing. I don't really go by, the world's propaganda of what should be. I live for me and I do what I want to do in my own way. And I'm just a really simple person at the end of the day. Like I'm somebody that just, like I said before, love being at home. Somebody that love to paint and draw. I love to cook. I love to um interior design. Like so many different things that I like to do, besides music.
So being the CEO of a record label, man, the responsibilities, how do you handle all of it? Being an artist and the CEO of a record label.
It could be tough sometimes because you're dealing with multiple people, you're dealing with different personalities, you're dealing with people in different parts of the world. So it's just all about a balance, and the biggest piece of it all is a team. You got to have a good team of people that know what they're doing, and really understanding business, like not only yourself but your counterparts, especially the artist. Like the artist has to understand business. They have to understand how things work and how things are ran, and understand what you can and cannot do, and this is what the back end looks like, and all those different details. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Thanks. Definitely do. Because if you're that, it's not gonna work out. Are you gonna bump heads?
That's a fact.
And you know what I'm saying? You definitely want to do that. If
That's a
someone
fact.
wanted to listen to your music or follow you on your socials, how could they do that?
I'm available on all streaming platforms. Just research James Artissen. Follow me on all social media at James Artissen, and you can visit the website at www.jamesartisan.com.
Well, James, what advice would you give an artist if they just not starting their music career? What would you tell them?
Um, I would tell them, for one, figure out exactly what you want to do in this business. Are you doing it for monetary gain? Are you doing it because you love it? Are you doing it because you have to? Like, I think those things should be the focal point before you get any deeper into it. And when you do get deeper into it, you got to really understand the mechanics behind the business, meaning understanding the contractual obligations, understanding how to get paid, understanding, your rights and your ownerships. And then last but not least, perfecting your craft. Um, what is going to be your niche? What are people going to love you for? Um, and do you actually enjoy your own music? So it all comes back to exactly what you want to do this for.
Facts. Well, James, man, I know you got to get back in the studio. I appreciate you for coming to chill and vibe. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing, man.
We chilling and vibing, baby.